Okay, today is today's October 6, 2016. It's been a week since we did a podcast. John, how are things up in New York?
Yeah, they're good. It was, we were busy though. Gosh, a lot of meetings, a lot of shows, and but always good to be doing a podcast. And we try to keep them concise. I would say short and sweet, but we'll try to just be concise. How about that, Andrew?
Absolutely, I like that. Brevity's the soul of wit. Speaking of brevity, Twitter. What's your take on that? I mean, everybody's talking about it. We talked about it last week. You said what, in the 20s somewhere?
Stand by it. I stand by low to mid 20s takeout. I did kind of like when we had Bob Peck on the halftime show, and Mr. Peck was saying, well, when you look at this thing, it looks like it would be something potentially defensive. Peck and Jim Cramer thought that Facebook might have to do it as a defensive move now that it's gotten cheap again. I still think, even quite frankly, at 24 it's cheap. I just don't think that the takeover happens higher than that. But I do think somebody will find a value for this thing, and it's more or less in that mid to low 20s. I've said that all along, Andrew. I'm short calls like crazy at the 22 and 23 strike. Again, reiterating what I've said on TV in full disclosure. But I still believe that. Let's see how it shakes out, but that's where I am on this trade.
I have no dog in this hunt. I've been beaten up on this like in the 30s, and I'm done. Oh, however, on our last podcast, we talked about two stocks. We talked about Amazon and Whole Foods.
And you nailed
I said
both.
Amazon.
It's true.
Well, more Amazon.
Well, yeah, more Amazon. But, I mean, Whole Foods, when you mentioned that one, WFM, of course, is the symbol here, folks. But Andrew mentioned this one because Thanksgiving coming up and so forth. And lo and behold, what's going on here, Andrew? Take a look at the move today, almost 5%. And up, pretty strong since our last podcast. So I love that call.
Just keeping it simple. And the Amazon thing was just like a goof. I mean, only because there's going to be a stock that's going to 1,000. It's going to be Google. It's going to be Amazon. I don't forget the evaluations. And I said, you can't walk out into the street and not see an Amazon car, truck parked in the bike lane, of course, and delivering boxes, and it seems like nobody shops anymore. They just get everything on Amazon. I'm thinking, well, okay, and look where it is now. It's like $843. I mean, that's $50 away from where we first started talking about. You think? I guess it goes to 9. What for? No other reason, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it certainly has been a good call so far, and I would not fade it. Like it, and I would think that we're going to see, both those stocks continue to work. Although I must say, you're the one in them, Andrew. I am not.
All right, here's another one. Stupid me. Walking to school today, dropped my son off, and I see a line outside the Mac store. Mac Cosmetics, not the
Apple store with selling Mac.
No, not the Apple store. They're selling Macs. I mean, here you go. And of course, what I do? Why are you in line? Selena, the singer. Remember the one that got shot? The one that Jennifer Lopez played? Remember that movie? Okay. They finally came out with a line for her, and the product is sold out across the country. So there's people waiting from last night in line to get this product. Guess what symbol that is?
EL, as in the same thing you see on every obnoxious Tesla driver's license. It's always got the EL on there for electric. It's like, really, nobody knew you were driving a Tesla. You had to put EL behind it.
I think that's a state rule, isn't it?
It is.
On the license plates? Okay.
But it's not like in our state, we don't have a lane that's specific for electric cars like they do in California. So I don't quite get the reasoning for it. But
they get over on that. Estee Lauder was up like almost $2. It's only up 65 cents now. Not too many options trade on this. It's very low, but a whole line of people outside the store. What else you doing over there? You doing that? What's that, CMA?
Yeah, doing a little Comerica. It's one of those trades we kind of like because it's a slow money trade, though, folks. Probably because Comerica doesn't move too fast. I don't expect rates to go up too fast. But nonetheless, the trader who bought about 8,000 of these calls at $3 sold them over $5 today. That's $2 profit. You do that on 8,000 calls, and it's a real number. But he didn't pull the money off the table, or she didn't pull the money off the table because I don't know who did it. But when you're talking 8,000 times $2, that's $1.6 million profit. Didn't pull it off the table, instead stuck with it, pushed it out to April 50s. So they had Jan 45s, made a big profit basically since May, and now they're out there pushing it out to April at a $5 higher strike. I like following those kinds of trades.
And that's a year high right now, almost $50 a share on Comerica. Mm-hmm. 49.12. Hey, one other thing, you mentioned this on halftime today, was the new VIX contract that just came out today, the weekly. The weekly
election contract. The one that expires November 9th. I mean, you want something that gives you all the juice from the election. That's it, baby. Because it doesn't matter. You're bullish on VIX going higher or you're bearish on VIX going lower, which obviously tends to work opposite of the stock market itself. The VIX is a contraindicator, meaning when the market's going to be going up, usually the VIX is going down. When the market's going down, VIX is going up. Anyway, you could basically nail that thing just to November 9th, because you can't even miss the trade. If you're in it on the 8th, it's going to cash out on the 9th. And so you can't screw it up, which is a nice thing. If you're right, you're going to be right.
I asked Jamie, he said the implied vol on that thing was 130. All the other contracts are 70. I said, why wouldn't you go out to like November, the expiring contract in November, the other VIX contract? He goes, no, they want to play the weeklies on this thing. It's like the ultimate tightest gamble right on the election itself. And he says, and as he walked away today after we filmed, he said, if Trump runs away with this thing's going to be nuts. He says it's like the Brexit. It's got Brexit volatility in it. How do you like that?
I like it. All
right.
And
all right.
It's going to be interesting rest of the week, folks, because obviously tomorrow is the employment data. So watch the VIX into the end of the day today, and then we'll see the employment data at 8:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning.
All right, John.
Andrew, have a great evening. Remember, you can subscribe on iTunes and or to the video, which is not really video, but it's nonetheless on YouTube as well, I think, Andrew.
Yeah, it'll go up.
It's got some charts. All right, see you, man.
All right, later.